TRS Clips, the place you arrive at if you just want the best bits of India's smartest podcast, The Ranveer Show. Subscribe, hit that bell icon. I spoke about the tangent I got from the entrepreneur who was questioning, that why are there fewer women in the workforce? And I think his blame was towards Indian society and all that. And that's fair. And that got me thinking that, no, what's the actual source of the blame? Then I had a conversation with my mom on this podcast. And my mother told me that when I was born, she had to take a step back from her career consciously. And that time, I thought, okay, cool, thank you, mom, I appreciate your sacrifice. But over time, the obvious question was, why didn't my dad take a step back? Somewhere then I'm grateful that he didn't, because then he gave me the life that I lived out, And this said that, yes, there's definitely some role of parenting that actually kind of finds its way into Indian society and pulls back a lot of women. So the actual key here is to train men in fatherhood. And for me, the second key, and this has come from a conversation I've had with a Korean citizen, someone from South Korea, who was talking about his own parents. So this man was about 40 years old and his parents are probably 80 years old now. And he said that when his parents were growing up, South Korea was a very poor country and they got independence around the time we got independence. But the way that country has economically grown, it's crazy. And women are a big part of the workforce there and the part of their hard power, the soft power, all that. So he said that the key is we have a culture of getting married very late in life. Like we grow emotionally, we grow our IQ, EQ, SQ up till the age of 35. Then we know what we want in a partner. And then we go for marriage. Therefore, that 40-year-old man can be a better father to a 5-year-old son than, say, a 30-year-old man who's got to kind of establish his career, has the pressure of earning money, and then that kind of affects the marriage as well. I feel the key for me is delaying marriage and kind of telling more Indians to delay marriage. Don't get married at 23, don't get married at 26 if you can. At least delay it till like your early 30s. I think that's the key, ma'am. But what do you think?
Absolutely. Do you know, 1M changes the woman, it's money, how she deals with money. Second M which changes a woman is marriage. All right, that's manageable, all right, as long. The third which dramatically changes her life is motherhood. What? Now biologically, yes, she slips back because biologically it takes a toll on her body. It takes a toll on her time. It takes a toll on her energy. It takes a toll on her health. And if she's young, below 20, it takes a heavy toll, right? I'm glad that the marriage age is being considered to be now becoming 21 minimal. It's absolutely, because 18 used to become even 16, right? So even if we make it 21, it will still be 20, around 19. You'll see this. But the point is, it's good. Why? Because now the woman will now have seen the world around, maybe learned a skill, learned the economy of scales, etc., and maybe learned about what is sexuality, what is motherhood about. She'll have become more trained and educated and little skilled, little more self-reliant, right? But still the point is, even if she's skilled, she knows how to manage the money, she's now employed, but she's mother now. Who manages the child? Is there a planned child? Did the father and the mother together think through what's going to happen to her career? Why? Because the workplaces do not provide any support. Our social systems do not provide any childcare support. There is no childcare support in our major companies, in our workplaces, and in our neighborhoods and an environment. There is no childcare support. And what happens? If she has family support, and family also becomes a dependent if there is elder care. So she is a nurse in the house, she's a wife in the house, she's a mother in the house, and she's a work person outside. She becomes 4 in 1. Earlier, she was a wife and maybe nurse in the house. Now, she's a wife, she's a nurse, she's a mother, and she's also employed. And she needs the money now. But who is helping her in the house? Nobody. Because that bias hadn't been broken. The boy hasn't been made to grow up to say, look, if you are a father, you have an equal role to play. Manage the home equally. Manage your parents equally. Thus, your wife doesn't get to lose her job. Nobody does this prior contracting and discussion before motherhood, before parenthood. Nobody does that. See, there's nobody. And then, where are the companies which provide family support? Or after school care? Because now the child needs to be dropped and picked up. Who gives aftercare? To nannies, we don't have a nanny support. We don't have trained nanny support. Do you know there's a huge need? Just as every office needs security today, every working woman or every working parents need nanny support. But where are the nannies? Are we doing any trained nannies? Trained nannies who can be paid and compensated or be well qualified and well provided for? There's no nanny support. Credible nanny support. If it's a boy, you need a boy. And if it's a girl, child, you need a girl. Is there a nanny support? A working woman naturally would drop out of work. So the employer knows they're going to lose. In fact, it's because of COVID you have had women continuing to work from home, right? Otherwise, they would have dropped out. That's why women do. Do you know what happened with my life? Moment I became a mother, I suddenly realized, my God, my daughter, who looks after my daughter, I can't leave her to a male orderly. I had to get a nanny transported from Amritsar. But that again wasn't enough. I requested my parents, Mummy, why are you living all alone in Amritsar? Why? Because we were all such a close-knit family. Can you please come over to Delhi? We can all live together. Because I never wanted to be a migrant. Let's all stay together. Right? And guess what? Thank God, my in-laws, no question of they opposing the fact that how can parents come and live with you? It's my home. It's our home. So it became our home. The home became open for my mother-in-law and my own mother. Sometimes I had both the mothers taking care of my child. So it became intergenerational support. How many women are fortunate to have mothers at home? How many working women, highly qualified, reaching the top, have this kind of credible nanny support? See, unless a working woman, let's say parents realize that mother parenting means somebody's career time lost. How do you regain? Because the woman to jump back, I think she loses out so much career-wise compared to the men. So I think that's not taught, that's not talked, that's not discussed when we are talking about marriages. We're looking for, I'm about to be a mother, I'm pregnant, and we're going to have a baby. We have shower baths. But what happens after? Who's going to lose the job? Who's going to? Well, some women would happily like to skip. They skip. These are all personal choices. I'm saying everybody have their own likes, preferences, and feelings about. I'm not against or for. I'm just talking to you limitations. Where she's looking for support, does it exist? We need nanny care support. We need corporate family care support. We need after school corporate support. We need all these support. And we need intergenerational living together. At the moment, we're going more towards single family. Parents living in but we don't realize what a strength they are if the elders are at home for the grandchild. It's a big support. So I think these are unaddressed issues. And they are, at the moment, the real challenges before a working woman or working parents. And the men are still to realize what it is to nurture a baby and play an equal role in father. Some are, I'm not saying all, I'm not generalizing anything, but this is the need of the hour. So I'm answering your question, why 5%, why 10%, why don't they make it to the top of the ladder? Because they drop out for their children. Because there's nobody else to take care of. No business, corporate support, no social support, no networking support, no intergenerational support. Where do they go? Where do the children go? Children need mommy. Children need mommy. They need daddy. But they need mommy first. Always mommy. When it's in pain, mommy. When they want something, daddy. They need both. But they need mommy. But mommy can't be all the time in the workplace. So she starts making part-time. She starts skipping. I think these are the social challenges which working women who want to make it to the top of the world, this society needs to address these issues. And we must go in for a very good cadre of child care trained, and if they're paid for by the company or if they are able to be provided for, I think we need it very badly. If possible, also encourage intergenerational support and even geriatric care, even elder care. When they have medical issues, who takes care? It's only the wife normally who goes and takes care of the hospital. She again loses out on work. So we need even elder care. So these are the challenges for a working woman, having support system in elder care, having home care, even housekeeping. So I think these are the challenges which actually pull her back to her traditional role of housekeeping or homemaking.
Ma'am, for me, the solution is probably three-pronged. The first is because there's genuinely a demand for these kind of businesses, there has to be some kind of entrepreneurial angle around childcare and generally childhood. I feel there's a lot of businesses out there that can be built around people having children that don't exist in India yet. So it's in the Indian entrepreneur's turn. People watch Shark Tank India and all this, but look at a child's life and figure where you can help and make the life easier for the parents. The second, obviously, is education of all sorts. Like, the more people get educated, even if it's as simple as teaching someone a second language, teaching everybody English, suddenly they'll be exposed to education and perspectives from across the globe. So maybe the second one is education. But the primary game changer for me, and I'm speaking from my own career experience, I've had a 6-year career in the field of content. I've seen how mindsets of people have changed. So it makes me think that from a macro view, I want to see how far the internet gets into the country, and things like this, conversations like this, podcasts. Now, this will reach some woman somewhere who'll have like a tiny shift in her perspective in terms of, no, I'd rather, maybe it's a young girl who's getting ready to get married. She's on the arranged marriage circuit. She'll ask the right questions to the possible guys that she's meeting and look for a guy who is into the concept of fatherhood, who is emotionally stable. Ma'am, and the rebuttal to, I won't call it a rebuttal, but I do want to chip in and say that from the perspective of men are not even emotionally aware of themselves. Most men. Like, we had an army major today, we had a film director today, and we spoke about men's emotions. And these guys are accomplished people, like on the show, we recorded with them today. But somewhere there's so many questions about our own emotional sensibilities. Because there is a certain amount of very heavy pressure put on Indian men to provide for the family. Since we're like 4 years old, we're told that if you don't study, you're going to become nothing in life. No one's going to marry you. And you're going to turn into, something horrible. So every Indian man deals with a crazy amount of career pressure, which is there even in men from other countries, but not as much as it's on Indian men. So I think some fundamental shift needs to happen, which is only going to happen through content, through maybe even like culture. Movies coming out about these topics. Tare Zameen Par had a direct impact on my childhood. It changed my relationship with my parents. I used to have ADHD as a kid. So, my teachers used to complain about me that this kid is like too hyper. But my parents started understanding that situation better and just let me be. So sometimes movies can really kind of shift culture.